All right, welcome to today's class on Dotloop 101. This will be the Dotloop Basics training class today. So this class is built for new agents who have not gone through Dotloop too much. Okay, maybe you've seen the system a little bit, but I'll be explaining what Dotloop is, what a loop is, how to create a loop, prepare your forms, and get those electronically signed by your clients. Okay, so the goal is by the end of today's class that you feel comfortable enough to share forms with your clients to get those signed. Maybe get a contract going here. So the first thing that you'll want to do to access your Dotloop account is actually go to mykw.kw.com. And that's where I am on my screen here. So again, that was mykw.kw.com to go ahead and log into your account. Now just a heads up, when you're logging into your myKW account, that username should be something like your first initial, last name, maybe some numbers. And the password is case sensitive, so it does have to have a capital letter in there. And so that password is case sensitive. I know there's a million passwords to get into everything. So if you have any trouble getting into your account, feel free to email support@scottleroymarketing.com and we can certainly help you reset your password. Okay, so let me send out that email address here, guys. Any questions that you have after the training, or if you have any trouble getting into your account, this is the email address that you'll want to email so we can help you out right away. Alrighty. So now that we're in our myKW account, what we're going to want to do is focus on this e-edge control panel box on the top center of your screen. So this has a lot of tools that you'll need for your KW technology. And for today's class, we're actually going to focus on this myTransactions link right here. So if you could go ahead and click on Start myTransactions on the top right of that e-edge control panel box. That should take you into your Dotloop account right away without further passwords, ideally. Again, we are clicking on Start My Transactions, this blue link right here. Okay, not to be confusing, you'll hear and see Dotloop referred to as both Dotloop and myTransactions. So same thing there. So go ahead and click on that blue link and it should take you into your Dotloop account right away. All right, now as you come into your Dotloop account, some things I'd like to point out to you is Dotloop has recently rolled out a new homepage view. So if your homepage looks different than mine, I'm going to show you the new Dotloop homepage view that they are beta testing because it might be taking you there directly. And then we'll get all on the same page for our homepage view so we can work on class together. So the first thing I would like you to do, if you are seeing what I am seeing on my screen here, you should see a click here for early access to the new improved loops page. So if you haven't already explored this, feel free to click here so that we can take a look at what this new Dotloop homepage is going to look like. So again, I'm just clicking the words click here on the top left, kind of under a KW logo here. And it will take you into the new loop page. Now for new agents, I believe your Dotloop account is taking you into this view automatically. So if you're already looking at this, great. So they are just beta testing this view of your Dotloop homepage. All right, so they're in the process of beta testing it and would like your feedback as you see up here. All right, but it is not officially rolled out, so you don't have to start using this quite yet. All right, I just wanted to show you where this is. I know it's a little overwhelming when technology that you start to learn is changing, but the good news is all the navigation of the Dotloop homepage is the exact same. They're really just changing the colors of the home screen and kind of the view of the loops and squares instead of circles. But everything I teach you in today's class will be the same exact way navigationally on this view here as well. So you can use either one. So just to make sure we're all in the same view, let's go ahead and click Go Back on the top right of this Dotloop homepage view. Okay, hold tight if you're not seeing this. If you're not seeing this this white view right here. If you are seeing the white view, go ahead and click Go Back where it says one out, Go Back, so that we can all get on the same page here. All right, so this is most likely what you are viewing. Whoever just asked this question is let me know if your Dotloop page doesn't look like this, if you need help getting into Dotloop. But I'm thinking this is what you're looking at, okay? Are you in Dotloop? Have you gone to myKW? Hi, Lisa. Have you gone to mykw.kw.com and you'll want to click on Start My Transactions right here, that blue link. So that is how you'll get into the Dotloop. I'm in the same main page. So you are on this page or you are looking at this page here, possibly. If you're looking at this page, that same main page. All right, you'll just want to click go back. Alrighty, so let's start from the beginning. All right, let's start from the beginning to make sure we're all on the same page here. So you have gone from your myKW homepage and you'll want to click Start My Transactions right here to get right into your Dotloop account. So far I think you've done that much. From there, it should take you into a page that looks like this, right? If it's black and red, so it should be black and red. If you're on the black and red page, good, that's where you should be. Is it taking you to a login page by chance? If it's taking you to log into Dotloop, you would just have to... Oh, gotcha. You might be an admin. If you're not seeing this control panel at all right here, that means you are an admin and you don't have access to the eEdge control panel. If that's the case, you can just go to dotloop.com directly to log in. All right, so that's normal for admin accounts. You won't have this panel. So just make sure you're going to dotloop.com to log in right away. That is the correct address. So this is mykw.kw.com. That's the correct address. And if you're an admin, you won't have this eEdge control panel box right here. So if you're having trouble logging in that way, no worries. I would just go to dotloop.com directly. Gotcha. If it says to activate eEdge, you can email support@scottleroymarketing.com to see if that's already been activated or if they need to activate it for you. So again, just go ahead and email this support email address right here. Okay, that I put on over here, support@scottleroymarketing.com, and they'll be able to activate your eEdge account right away, or they'll be able to tell you to go to dotloop.com if your eEdge account isn't activated. All right, so hopefully that helps out. Feel free to call our support number or email us and we can get you all sorted out. Okay, so hopefully we are all on this Dotloop homepage now, looking at the same thing here. And what we're going to go over first is these 6 icons on the top right of your black toolbar. All right, little struggles today. If you cannot hear, I did put a note up here. I'll go ahead and put that on over. All right, so hopefully that helps out and we can get the ball rolling here now. Okay, so we're all looking at our Dotloop homepage view and we're going to take a look at the navigation around your Dotloop account first. So first of all, you should see 6 icons on the top right of your black toolbar, and I'm going to go over what each one of those icons does for you and focus on the ones that you'll really be utilizing. Okay, so for this first icon, it looks like a bar graph here. That's going to be an overview of all of your Dotloop stats. So any year-to-date sales or any other information about your loops can all be viewed here, all your stats on that. Moving to the right side, this is a big one to note, right? This loops icon that looks like a smiley face with no eyes, right? That is always going to get you back to the Dotloop homepage. And so if you're ever lost in the system or just need to get back home, this loops icon will take you there right away. All right, moving to the right, this tasks icon. So you can create to-do lists for yourself in each one of your loops. And if you're anyone like me, I really like to create to-do lists, so it does give you the option in each one of your loops. This task option on the very top of your screen here will give you an overview of all the to-do lists that you have in all of your loops collectively. All right, so you can overview all the things you need to do for all of the transactions that you have going. Moving to the right, the people section here. So that's going to be, it'll show you all of the contacts that you've ever entered into your Dotloop account. Moving to the right again, this is another big one for you to note. So the icon that looks like two sheets of paper is going to be your templates icon. Okay, so in this template section, that will give you all of your blank forms in Dotloop. So if you just want to print out a blank document and bring it on your appointment to have that hand signed, we'll be going in this towards the beginning of class here so I can show you exactly how that's done. But we're going to start class by hovering over either your initial or your headshot on the very top right of your Dotloop account here. Okay, so it should be that last icon on the top right of your screen. And some things to note on here, your member ID. Okay, so if you give Dotloop support a call, if you're having any trouble with Dotloop, you can call Dotloop support, and their phone number is on the bottom of every page in Dotloop. And they're really great. They have very extensive hours as well to help you out. If you call Dotloop and enter in this member ID that you see right here, when prompted, it actually moves you to the front of the support queue because you are a Dotloop premium member. So it's really awesome to move you to the very front of the support so you get faster support since you're with KW. And while we're on that topic, please make sure that you see the word premium on the top of your account here. You will want to make sure, typically it's a black and red color, but I know that varies depending on your market center. So you will want to see that it says KW Premium on the top of your Dotloop account in order to have access to all of your market center forms. All right, if your Dotloop account does not say premium on the top left, that means you're not connected to your market center and will not have access to blank forms. If that is the case for your account, feel free to email support@scottleroymarketing.com and they'll be able to connect you to your market center right away so you can participate in class. Again, go ahead and email support@scottleroymarketing.com if you're not seeing premium on the top left here. But hopefully we all are. So I'm going to go back to my headshot on the top right. Okay, or it might be your initials on the top right black toolbar. And let's click My Account from that drop down. All right, so I'm selecting My Account from that drop down there. All right, so in this My Account section, what this information does is it auto-populates all of your contact information onto every single form that you bring into your Dotloop account. So it's a huge time saver, so you don't have to keep typing in your phone number, address, license number. We can put it all in one time here in this My Account section, so it'll do the work for you moving forward. All right, so let's check a couple things here. All right, so we're starting on this column right here and moving on down. So first of all, let's make sure our first and last name is displaying correctly. Slightly important. I have to make sure that's all spelled correctly here. And let's pay attention to your Dotloop email address as well. Now it's very important to make a note of what your Dotloop email address is specifically, because if an agent shares something with you in Dotloop, they will need to share it to this email address specifically. Okay. So again, one more time, make sure to note what your Dotloop email address is. It's really important so that when an agent shares a form with you in Dotloop, it actually shows up in your Dotloop account. All right, so I'd recommend writing that down or making a note of where to find that. And moving down this column, let's make sure our fax number and our phone number are entered in here as well. If you don't have a fax number, no worries. Just go ahead and put in your phone number. You'll want that to be your business phone number. So probably your mobile phone number. All right, and the e-sign name and e-sign initials here. All right, so make sure that you have your name how you'd like it to appear in your signatures. Okay, so if you want to sign with your middle initial or your middle name, you can go ahead and add that in right here. Okay, so this might need to be your legal name to put signatures in. All right, for the company name, let's go ahead and make sure that says Keller Williams Realty. You can also put in Keller Williams Realty dash your brokerage name. Okay, I know some BICs really like for you to have your brokerage name in there as well. So you can add that in if needed. And we have your job title as well, and you can put that whatever you'd like it to be for your area. Okay, that's supposed to be broker slash realtor or salesperson. I know it varies from state to state, okay, what you're referred to. Just a heads up, if you are typing in the word realtor, that will need to be in all caps. So anytime you write the word realtor, that will need to be in all caps since it is a trademark name. And lastly on this list, you can put in your NERDS ID if you have that on hand. All right, and as you're finishing up this section here, I just want to talk a little bit about the headshot section. So the headshot is a really important thing to add to your Dotloop account. Your clients will be signing legal forms, so it makes them feel a lot better if they see a familiar face in their Dotloop account. They'll know that what they're signing is legitimate. So if you don't have your headshot in here already, you would just click the red button that says something like upload headshot there, or upload photo, and it will browse your computer right away. If you do not have your headshot quite yet, feel free to, whenever you get it, email that over to us to support@scottleroymarketing.com, and we can upload your headshot. There's about 6 different places that we add your headshot throughout your account, including Dotloop. So we're happy to do that for you if you'd rather us just mess with it. So again, feel free to email your headshot to support@scottleroymarketing.com, and we'll take it from there. For now, let's go ahead and scroll down to the bottom of our page where we need to go ahead and put in our address. All right, you'll want to put in your office address for this one, okay, not your home address, because again, this is the address that will be auto-populating onto your forms. If you have no idea what your office address is, feel free to Google it. Google tends to know all, okay? So if you Google your office address, you can type that in right away here. I'll give you a couple seconds here to finish up typing in that address. And once you do finish that section, just make sure to click Save on the bottom right here. Okay, I'll give you that lovely yellow bar that says Contact Information Updated Successfully. Anytime you save anything in Dotloop, it gives you a yellow confirmation bar, which makes me feel a lot better. Okay, it's the worst when you do all this work and then your work doesn't save. I know we've all been there. All right, so again, make sure you click Save on the bottom right there so we can scroll to the top of our page. But we first click Save, and then we're scrolling to the top of our page and selecting Profiles on the left-hand side in red. Okay, so we're selecting Profiles on the left-hand side in red. If you are an agent in multiple market centers, or if you're transferring from one market center to the next, you might see a couple of your different profiles right here. So that's what that is. That's why you see that on my screen. Okay, but most of you should just have the one. So go ahead and select Profiles on the left-hand side in red. And we just have to do a little more housekeeping in here, and then we'll be able to get into the fun stuff of Dotloop. So make sure we're putting in our phone number and our fax number here. All right, one more time. In the next section down in this profile details, the main thing you'll want to pay attention here is the agent license number. Okay, depending on your forms, there are spots on the listing agreement and so forth that require the agent the agent license number. And you'll want to go ahead and put in your license number there so it auto-populates for you. Okay, sometimes it's kind of hard to remember that long string of numbers for your license number, so it's helpful to go ahead and enter it in, and Dotloop can remember for you and enter that in for you. So again, that's the bottom right section of the profile details where it says agent license number specifically. Okay, the broker license number, just to let you know what that is, that would be for your broker in charge. Okay, so you'll want to put your license number as the agent license number. Okay, and if you're still wrapping that up, feel free, don't feel rushed. But if you are done with that or going to enter it in later, feel free to scroll on down to this company information here. And let's go ahead and put in our address one more time here. So we'll want our company name. That should say something like Keller Williams Realty or Keller Williams Realty dash your brokerage name, as I have here. All right, and then you'll really just want to fill in your address under that. Okay, again, this is your office address. So if you didn't know your office address before, well, you do now. All right, we need to type that in one more time here. All right, and as we scroll down, I'm just going to explain the notification settings beneath that. So if you're still working on the address, feel free. And these notification settings here. So this will tell you when you receive an email from Dotloop as a notification. Right? So these are important things such as when a document is shared, when a document is signed, when your signature is required, when your office updates something on your loop for compliance. Right, these are really important things for you to have checked and to be notified about. So I would recommend leaving them all checked to start out with. If you find that you're starting to get too many emails from Dotloop and it's driving you crazy, you can always come in here and toggle the notification settings at that time. But to get started, let's just leave them all checked here and go ahead and click Save on the bottom right of your screen. All right, so I'm clicking Save on the bottom right. And let's scroll back up to the very top of your screen. Okay, again, we click Save first on the bottom right. And we're scrolling back up to our screen, and just a heads up, if you came in late or have no idea how we got in here, again, we got in here by hovering over your headshot on the top right, okay, your headshot or your initials, and just going to My Account. So you can always come back in here to finish this stuff up or change any of that information in the future. I know that was a little tedious, but you'll see how it starts to save you a lot of time as it auto-populates your contact information. So to kick off class, let's go ahead and hover, or actually click on the icon that looks like two sheets of paper on the top right black toolbar. All right, so I'm clicking on the icon that looks like two sheets of paper on the top right. And you'll notice if you ever forget which icon it is that you need to access the templates from, if you hover your mouse over any one of these icons, it pops up telling you exactly what that icon does. Just a little tip there. So as you go into this template section, you'll notice a bunch of red form sets that start going down your page on the left-hand side. Now your office staff loads these folders in for you, so your screen will look different than mine. Okay, I'm in a Keller Williams Ballantyne area Dotloop account, so that office staff decided these folder names. So yours will look different and have different folder names, and that's completely normal. But the navigation will be the exact same. So what I would like you to pay attention to, if you could scroll down, all these form folders or form sets on the left-hand side, let's go ahead and select one of those. See. All right, so I'm going to show you how to search for a listing agreement. So you can simply print out that listing agreement and take it with you on your appointment so you can have your client hand sign it and explain the form to them in person. Okay, you'll run into some clients who don't feel comfortable with electronic signatures, or maybe you don't really like technology. That's totally fine. You can simply use Dotloop to print out your documents and take it with you on your appointment to have it hand signed. So let me show you the 4 steps to do that. All right, step 1, we will click on the form folder we would like on the left-hand side in red. All right, step 2, we're going to use this red search bar going across the top of your screen to search for the form we want. So I can simply click on the word search and type in the word, let's say listing, if I'm trying to find a listing agreement. Okay, when I type in the word listing, it will search, it will pull up all the forms that have the word listing in that subject. Just a quick tip, you'll notice that some of the form names run off the side here. If you hover your mouse over that form name, it will pop up telling you the full form name, so you know you're getting the right one. All right, now the final step is we'll simply want to click on the 3 drop-down dots, the far right of that form name, and click download. All right, that'll pull it outside of the system and pull it onto your computer as a PDF, so you can simply print the document and bring it with you on your appointment. Okay, so again, those 3-4 steps are, I'm going to overview that one more time because I know that was a couple steps. So step 1, we're clicking on the templates icon on the top right of your Dotloop account. Step 2, we select the form folder that we would like on the left-hand side in red. Step 3, we're going to use the search bar on the top of your screen to search for the form that we would like. And the 4th and final step is we simply click on the 3 drop-down dots on the far right to click download. All right, so again, that is how you would print out blank documents from your account. But the whole purpose of Dotloop is to be able to type in your forms, send it to your clients to be electronically signed. So let me show you how you would utilize Dotloop in that respect instead. So the first thing I want you to do is go ahead and click on the loops icon on the top of your screen here. Okay, again, that icon looks like a smiley face with no eyes. And that will take you back to your Dotloop homepage. So again, we're clicking on that loops icon that looks like a smiley face with no eyes to get you back to your Dotloop homepage. Now, just to make sure that we are both looking at the at the same homepage to move forward, I would like to point out that Dotloop does give you the option to view your Dotloop homepage in 2 ways. One being the grid view, which is what I'm looking at on my screen right here. And the second is this list view on the top right. Okay, so it is the icon that looks like a red dot that has 3 white horizontal lines going through it. All right, that will give you the option to switch back and forth your Dotloop homepage view depending on which one you prefer. Now in the Dotloop 201 video, I go into depth about the Dotloop homepage and the best way to stay organized and view your homepage. So feel free to hop over to slmtraining.com to view more information about this Dotloop homepage. For today's class, I'm going to start on the grid view. So I'm going to teach class by clicking on this red dot on the top right one more time to get back to that grid view. If you're staying on this list view, just a heads up, we're about to create a loop, so you can do that by clicking there and then hold tight. I'm going to switch back over to the grid view first if you'd like to follow along with me. Okay, so again, you can see how easy it is to toggle back and forth between your Dotloop homepage view from just by clicking that red dot on the top right. And I'm simply, from this view, going to click this big red plus sign on my screen here. And that will allow you to create a loop. Okay, and before we go any further, let me explain something important with Dotloop. So what Dotloop is going to act as your online filing cabinet. So you're going to have a loop per property that you sell. So when I say a loop, what I mean is an online file, and that's what we're about to create here. Okay, so again, you're going to have a loop per property that you sell. So for example, if you are representing a client who is selling their home with you and then buying the next home, that's going to be 2 different loops because it's 2 different properties. Okay, so a loop per transaction is the idea of Dotloop. All right, so when creating this loop, we'll want to go ahead and put in the property address if at all possible. So if you'd like to go ahead and put in a 123 Main Street or 123 Practice Street or your home address, okay, just so we can have a practice loop in your account. All right, it is really important to have a practice loop in your account anyway, so you can practice things in your Dotloop account before doing them in front of your clients, so you look like you know what you're doing. Always good to do it privately first. All right, so go ahead and name that whatever you'd like. 1, 2, 3 practice loop, totally up to you. And let's go ahead and click create loop on the bottom right. Okay, so we're putting in the property address and clicking create loop. Now I realize if you're representing a buyer, you won't know the property address right out the gate. No worries at all. I'll show you how to easily change the loop name as soon as you find out the home they're buying. So I'm putting in the property address and clicking create loop. And that will take you right into your new loop here. Okay, and as you get into your new loop, I want to point out there's 3 main sections of your loop here. So the first main section is this document section at the top of your screen. Okay, so the document section is where you'll be focusing most of your attention on and spending most of your time within your loop. It's where you'll be adding forms to your loop. You'll be editing these forms and sharing those to your clients to be able to electronically sign. So you'll do that all in the document section. But as we scroll down, I want to point out a couple other sections that are important. First of all, your people section down here. So it's the second main section. So your people section will show you all of the people that are involved in this transaction. So your clients you would typically see in this people section. If you have the mortgage provider added, you will always see yourself and your admin in your Dotloop account as well in this people section. So those are automatically in there for you, which is good. So your admin can do compliance on your loop so you can get paid, because I think that's why we do this real estate thing. Okay, and then you have this last section here, this task section, and I mentioned that you can create to-do lists for yourself in the system. So you can create to-do list templates even that you can load into each listing that tells you all the things, reminds you of all the things you need to do for your listing. So such as put it on the MLS, have it professionally measured, put a lockbox out, put a sign in the yard. Okay, all the million things that you have to do to get a listing ready to go live. You can create to-do lists for yourself in here and check those off to keep yourself on track. I know I really like to-do lists, so if you're like me, this is your happy place down here. All right, so let's scroll up to the top of your screen. A question that we get quite often is, great, I created a loop, now what do I do? Okay, so if you've created a loop in here, the first thing that you'll really want to do is come up and click View Details on the very top of your Dotloop account under the loop name or the property address here. So make sure you do this portion of it or you'll be lost for a little bit in class here. So again, scroll up to the top of your screen and go ahead and click View Details in red under the loop name, okay, which is that property address. And it will take you into the back end of the loop. Now, with this section, if you want to scroll around to take a look, what this section does is it auto-populates every form that you bring into this loop specifically with the information that you put in here. So it's a huge time saver, and we'll be going into that in just a second here. But let's start from the top and work our way down. So the first step, where it says transaction type, let's go ahead and click on select transaction type. And let's select listing for sale. Okay, we're going to do a listing as an example in today's class. Okay, so under transaction type, I'm clicking that drop down and selecting listing for sale. Now, once you select the transaction type, it will then allow you to toggle this loop status here. So in this loop status, you'll want to make sure to go ahead and put it as whatever the status is at the time. So in this case, we'll go ahead and put the active listing. Okay, but you can also toggle the status here to change it to sold and archived. Okay, while we're on that topic, just a heads up, there's no deleting any loops in Dotloop, okay, which is good. Your loops are always in there. But you can archive them so you don't see them. Okay, so archiving is Dotloop's equivalent to deleting in the respect that you won't have to look at it anymore, but you can always get these loops back if you need to. So for today, I'm going to go ahead and click on Active Listing from that dropdown. And you'll notice on the right-hand side, it gives you the option to update the loop name. So if you only had the buyer's name here previously, you could go ahead and change that to the property address if you wanted to, or you can add a dash at the end and add the client's name as well. Okay, now from this people section, this is a really important thing to focus on, of course. So what we're going to do is add our clients to our loop so that they can electronically sign. So the first thing you'll want to do, as you might have guessed, is click Add Person on the top right. This big red option here that says Add Person. Let's go ahead and select that so we can add our client to our loop. Okay, so there's three main things that you'll need to add in for your client, and that is the full name, so first and last name, email address, and role. So for the full name, I'm going to go ahead and put in my client's name. So if you want to put in John Smith or your spouse's name or whatever name you would like to as a practice here, maybe your favorite character or movie star, as I have here, Tony Stark, for any Iron Man fans. Okay, so we have a first and last name and we have an email address that has to be put in here. Now, if you have a personal email address that's not being used by your Dotloop account, that's a great thing to put into your practice loop here so you can see what your clients see when they receive a form to sign. Okay, so if possible, feel free to go ahead and put in a personal email address that you have that's not connected to your Dotloop account. And last but not least, let's go ahead and select a role here on the right-hand side. You'll see a bunch of role options here. And you'll see a little scroll bar here to search for the role that you're looking for. Okay, buyer and seller are, of course, two of the most popularly used roles. So I'm going to go ahead and select seller since we're working on a listing in today's loop. Before we go any further, I would like to talk about this Add to My Team checkbox here. It's a really important feature. So for the Add to My Team, if you're taking notes, this will be a noteworthy thing to write down. For the Add to My Team feature, please note that you will never ever click that checkbox if you are adding a client to your loop. Okay, what this Add to My Team feature does is it makes it so that person can see everything in your loop that you can see. And we, of course, don't want that. Okay, the general concept of Dotloop is everything is private in your loop until shared. Okay, so you really only want your clients to see what you choose to share with them. So we never want to click this Add to My Team feature for a client. It is a really cool feature though, so let's talk about when we would want to use that. Okay, so if you are working with an agent in your office on the same side of a transaction, so if you're co-listing a property, okay, so you're on the same side of a transaction, you can add that other agent to your loop and click Add to My Team here to put this loop in that agent's Dotloop account as well, so you guys can collaborate on the loop together. That agent will be able to do everything in the loop that you can do. Or if you are on a team and you have an admin on your team, you can add your team admin to the loop, click Add to My Team, and that will put that loop into your admin's Dotloop account so that they can help you with the loop. Okay, so again, a really great feature, this Add to My Team checkbox here, but we will not want to use that ever for your clients, okay? And I'm stressing this so much because if you do accidentally check this for your client, it can't be undone. All right, so you'd have to create a whole new loop. So it's a big deal, but it's a really cool feature. Let me know if you have any further questions on that. All right, but after that long spiel there, let's go ahead and click on Add Person on the bottom right here to officially add our client to our loop. All right, and of course, if there were a spouse in this transaction, I would simply click Add Person one more time to add the spouse in that transaction. All right, now that I have my client added in, I see the admin. The last thing we'll need to do in this people section is you will need to assign yourself a role. So find yourself here. It should say you next to you. And let's go ahead and change your role to the listing agent in this example. All right, so I'm selecting listing agent. You can simply click where it says none and select listing agent. And now our people section is all good to go. So let's scroll down slightly to start viewing this information for the back end of your loop. So again, what this information does is it auto-populates all this property detail information onto every single form you pull into your loop, so you don't have to keep typing it over and over again. So really great feature, really huge time saver as well. So just so you can see what it looks like when something auto-populates onto your forms, let's go ahead and just fill out the property address information here. Okay, so that's right under the people section if you're not sure where I am. Let's go ahead and type in the street number. Just a heads up, the street name is a different field than the street number. You can type in the city, state, zip code, county, okay, whatever you'd like to type in right here. Okay, just type in a few pieces of information so you can see what an auto population looks like on a form. Now, as you're finishing that up, feel free to scroll through and look at all the other information that Dotloop provides for you that you can auto populate onto your forms. Now, this is your best friend. If you are a new agent looking at some of these 10-page forms, okay, it's very overwhelming and hard to know where the information goes on these forms out the gate. I totally get that. If that's the case for you, this section is your best friend. Right? This is straight up prompting you for the information that it needs, and Dotloop knows where on the form that each part of this information belongs, and it puts it there for you. So it not only cuts out the work, the time that it takes to get there, it also saves you quite a bit of a headache, especially as a new agent, so you don't have to go on a treasure hunt to find where items go. So it has different things like financial information, contract dates, offer dates, contract info, and so forth. Okay, so feel free to scroll around to take a look at all the different items that you can take advantage of to help save yourself time and a headache. And for now, let's scroll to the very top of your screen, and please make sure to click Save on the very top red toolbar. And you should see a yellow bar display on the top of your screen letting you know the save was successful. We'd like to see that. So again, I'm clicking Save on the top right red toolbar here. And I'm simply going to click Back to Loop on the top left of my screen under that KW logo. Okay, so I'm clicking Back to Loop on the top left, right under your KW logo, to get right back to your Dotloop home screen. So this is what you should now be looking at. Now guys, of course I can't see your screen, so if I lose anyone or you have any questions, feel free to send over a message and I can try to catch you up so that we're on the same page so you can get the full benefit of class. Again, this class is being recorded, so you'll be able to view this later on slmtraining.com, so you can pause the video and follow along as well. So from this Dotloop view here, so we're now in our main loop, we're going to work on adding forms to our Dotloop account. So you should see a folder in your loop here with these 3 blue boxes that are displaying. If you are not seeing these 3 blue boxes here, no worries. Just make sure to click Add Document to the right of whatever folder you'd like to add a document to. And that will show you these 3 blue boxes right away. All right, so we're going to grab a blank document, a blank form, from this template section, that first blue box. Now, just to kind of try and draw everything together for you guys, this icon should look familiar to you. This templates icon right here is the same icon that you see on this top black toolbar. Okay, so that is the templates. We'll be going to that same section. You'll notice in this first blue box it says Add an interactive form by selecting one from templates. So go ahead and click on that first blue box. to add a new form to your loop. Now from here, again, this should look familiar to you. On the first column on the left-hand side, you should see a bunch of red form sets with all of your form folders. Okay, so this should look like the template section for you. And you can use this little gray scroll bar to scroll to whatever form folder you would like to select. Now in today's example, I'm going to be bringing in a listing agreement. If you'd like to follow along, feel free. All right, so I'm going to select whichever folder on the left-hand side has that listing agreement. And I'm going to use the search bar at the top of my screen to search for the word listing, okay, or whatever the form name might be called. Again, to see the full form name, I can simply hover my mouse over that form name to make sure I'm getting the right form. And I can simply click on the checkbox to the left of that form name and click copy on the bottom right to pull that form in right away. Okay, so again, I am selecting the form folder on the left-hand side. I'm using the search bar on the top of my screen. And then I'm simply clicking on the checkbox to the left of whichever form name I'd like to select. And lastly, click copy on the bottom right to pull that into your loop right away. All right, it gives me this nice pretty green check mark letting me know it has imported. So I can click OK on the bottom right to go back to my loop. And congratulations, you have now brought your first form into your loop. All right, so that's how you'll always bring blank forms into Dotloop. So now to start editing that form, to prepare that to send it to your clients, I simply need to click on the form name to open that up right away to start editing it. Okay, so I simply need to click on that form name to start editing it right away. Now, when you access that form, you will see this autofill box display right away, and this is really important. Please make sure to never click this X, or your clients will not be able to electronically sign. So this autofill box is imperative to your clients being able to electronically sign, and it autofills the information into this form for you. So for them to be able to electronically sign. So if you want your clients to electronically sign, they 100% have to be labeled here as seller 1. Okay, so you should see your client's name already in there for seller 1 because we told Dotloop that that was their role when we were adding them in. If you do not see your client's name labeled in next to seller, no worries. You can simply click select person from that drop down and select their name from that list, or click add person if you want to add that client in now. Okay, if you didn't know there was a spouse on the transaction, you could add them in right here. You will want to make sure that you are labeled as the listing agent as well if this is a form that you sign. Okay, so this roles section, I can't stress enough, is super important for them to be able to electronically sign. As I scroll down, this gives you other information that you can autofill. You should already see the property address in there since we did that in the view details section, so awesome, saving us time already. Same as we scroll down, if this is a listing agreement, you probably have a listing agent section here. All your contact information should be auto-populated since we did that at the beginning of class. So again, saving us time. Very exciting, right? Oh yes. So scroll down to the very bottom. You can take a note of all the other information you can autofill here. And go ahead and click autofill on the bottom right of your screen in red. Okay, that red button here. So make sure you scroll down to the bottom of that white box here and click that red button that says autofill to add all of that information to your form. You'll notice this little black box that tells you 2 roles have been assigned and 13 fields have been autofilled. Now, any fields that are yellow on your screen indicate to you that those have been auto-filled. So now, to prepare the rest of your form here, let me show you how easy this is. I think you'll really like it. All right, it's pretty intuitive. All you need to do is click on any field name. Okay, so any text box, you simply click on the field name to start typing. That easy. Okay, all you have to do is click on a field name to start typing. And just a heads up, I know your form probably looks different than mine. I'm with North Carolina Forms here, and that's okay. It's the same exact concept for your forms. It would be nice if all states had the same forms, wouldn't it? That would just be way too easy. All right, so from here, again, any text boxes, simply click to start typing. Any check boxes, you can simply click to check off. And any date fields, okay, I know it's a date field because it has this little calendar icon. Any date fields I can simply click on and use these arrows to scroll over to find the expiration date in this example and click on it. All right, so that is how you'll go about preparing your form. You can simply go down your form and start clicking each text box to start typing in what you need to go in each form, or each field, excuse me. So what I'd like to point out to you is the initial boxes that you might see on the bottom of each form. Okay, so if you'd like to scroll to an initial box or a signature field that your clients would need to sign, I would like to point out where it has seller's initials in this case, you want to make sure that you see your client's initials in print, indicating to you that you set it up correctly for them to electronically sign. If you do not see your client's initials here, if it just says the word seller in both boxes, your client will not be able to electronically sign. Okay, it needs to say your client's initials in print here for them to be able to electronically sign. Now, if I were to print out this form, just a heads up, this would be blank. Okay, so this TS here, that client initials is simply showing me I set it up correctly. So let's say, oh no, I didn't set it up correctly and it's not showing my client's initials here. No worries, guys. You can fix that up right away by coming back up to this autofill option on the top black toolbar. So I can simply click autofill on the top black toolbar there. It's asking if I want to save it. I will click yes. All right, and I'll bring that autofill option up right away so I can make sure my roles are correct. You would just have to have seller as your client's names. Okay, so that's why this is so important in this role section. Okay, so when they actually do go to electronically sign, it does look different than what we see here. So let's take a look. If there's a field that you need to sign as the listing agent, okay, if it's a listing agreement, that might be the case. All right, feel free to go ahead and click on where it says an individual agent initial, so we're listing agent. Once you click on that, it should say sign now, this little pop-up. And this is what it looks like when your client goes to sign for the first time and the first time only. They are able to update their signature. So if you misspelled their name or they want to sign with a middle initial, they can update that here. And then they can click adopt and sign here. All right, once they do that, it will pop in their initials with a time and date stamp. So you can see the difference of when a field is actually electronically signed versus the system just indicating to you that you set it up correctly. Now, as I scroll down to the next field to click to sign it, all I have to do is click sign now and it pops in my initials without further question. Okay, so it's very easy to sign it from here. Now I'm going to scroll down to a field that would be a signature, a full signature versus just the initials. It's the same exact concept, guys. I just want you to see it, okay, to make sure you feel comfortable with this as well. So for any signature fields, same exact concept. We need to make sure we see our seller's name sign here, right, versus seller sign here. Okay, that's really important for them to be able to electronically sign. And where it has the listing agent sign here, I'm going to hover my mouse, click Sign Now, and it'll pop in your signature with a time and date stamp. Okay, and you should notice that all of your contact information is auto-populated as well, since we did that in the My Account section, so you don't have to type that in. One less thing to do for this listing, right? Okay, so now use your imagination, fast forward, pretend that you have gone through this entire form here and filled in everything you need to, and now you need to share it to your client to be able to electronically sign. What we need to do at that point is click Save and Share on the very top right of your form. Okay, so that's that big red button where it says Save and Share on the very top right. Okay, it's asking if I would like to recommend Dotloop, so I'm going to X out of that. All right, I'll take you right to your share screen. So let's point out the important parts of this share screen so we can get this to your client to have them electronically sign. So the three main things I'd like you to focus on, this documents right here. So this will show you which document that you're sharing. So if you're sharing multiple documents, okay, this will ensure that you're not sharing anything that you don't necessarily want to share at that time. So I'll show you what's being emailed at this time. This will show you who currently has access to it. So you should always see your name and your admin's name here. And so if you can't remember if you already shared this form to your client, that would show you if this has been shared to your client previously. In this Add People section here, this is where the real fun begins. All right, so you should see your client's name right here. I can see that that client is labeled as a seller and has 11 fields assigned to them. In this far right here, where it says Can Sign, let's talk about the different share options that you have available to you. Now, 9 times out of 10, or the most popularly used option is this Can Sign option, and that's what we're going to share with today. So this Can Sign option would allow you to share this form to your clients, so all they can do is sign the form with the information that you've already added in for them. Right? You're the professional, you know what needs to go onto these forms, and they just need to sign for what you put on there. We don't necessarily want them to be able to change things like, oh, I don't know, your commission rate. Okay, so typically you'll want to share these forms as just Can Sign, so they can't alter anything. But there are some situations that you'll want to utilize these other share options. So let me take you through what each one of those is used for, okay, and the best practice. So you'll notice if you can't remember what I said on this, if you hover your mouse over each option, it does pop up telling you what each option does, so you don't have to remember all this. And this is a lot to stuff into your brain all at once. But view only, so when you would use a view only share option is, for example, if you're sharing, let's say, a fully executed offer to purchase over to the mortgage provider. Right? The mortgage provider typically needs to see the executed offer. So you can add the mortgage provider here and share it as view only. Or maybe you're representing a young couple and the parents want to look over all the forms that they're signing. Right, you can share it to the mom in the transaction and give them view only access to that. All right, so that is the view only here. We talked about Can Sign, and that is the one used 9 times out of 10. But the Can Fill and Sign option. Can Fill and Sign is used most popularly for property disclosures, right? If you need your client to be able to fill in things like the age of the roof or the age of the HVAC, for example. Giving them the option as Can Fill and Sign will allow them to fill out the form and then sign what they filled in. And lastly, we have that Can Edit in Private option, and that is used when you are sharing the form to the agent on the other side. So if you want to share the form to, let's say, an offer to the agent on the other side, if you share as Can Edit in Private, they would be able to make a counter offer and share that back to you. Now, just a heads up, if that agent on the other side were to make any changes to your offer that you shared to them, signed by your clients, okay, any changes made to an executed form will erase all signatures. So make sure to make a note of that. All right, it will erase your client's signatures if you make any changes because it thinks, well, they didn't sign for that. So that's a good thing. All right, so those are the 4 ways that you can share a document from your Dotloop account, but again, CanSign is the most popularly used. And then you can simply click share on the bottom right to send that to your client right away. So if you added yourself, your personal email address in here for your client, feel free to go ahead and click share and hop on over to that personal email of yours so you can see what it looks like when a client receives a form to be signed from you. Okay, it's always great to know if they have any questions on that. All right, guys, that was the Dotloop 101, the Dotloop Basics class. So hopefully you're feeling a little more comfortable in the Dotloop navigation and how to prepare a form and share that to your clients to electronically sign. If you would like to learn more, okay, take your Dotloop experience to the next level, feel free to check out the Dotloop 201 video on slmtraining.com so that you can learn a little bit more about how to make your Dotloop usage a little more effective, a little more efficient, and so forth. All right, guys, as you have questions, feel free to email us at support@scottleroymarketing.com, and I'd be happy to help out with that. You can put attention my name, which is Leah, and I can send over any notes that you would like on this video so I can write that out for you and send that over right away. All right, guys, have a happy Friday Eve and happy looping.